Good day, everyone, and thank you for tuning in today. I'm Bob Simpson, and I'm thrilled to give you a Take 10 sneak peek at one of A&K's perennial favorites, our Kimberley cruise expedition, Australia's last frontier. Throughout 2021, A&K is celebrating our 30th year of luxury expedition cruising. I've been blessed and fortunate enough to be involved with 23 of those years, having the opportunity to travel all over the world on all of our expedition cruises. And I can tell you, in all my years, one of the most amazing and off the charts experiences that I've had has been experiencing the Kimberley region. The Kimberley is truly Australia's last frontier, one of the most remote places in the world, only accessible by small purpose-built ship. And for me, that's really what expedition cruising is all about. Remote, rugged, and spontaneous. We start with 2 nights included at the beautiful Cable Beach Resort in Broome, Western Australia. It's known for incredible history, culture, and of course the world famous pearling that's located there. We embark on our expedition ship, the Le Belot. It's spelled B-E-L-O-T, which I will give you a little bit more detail in just a few minutes. We'll have 10 nights of spontaneous expedition cruising with visits to low-lying coral islands of the Lassapades, iconic Talbot Bay, Hunter River region with Mitchell Falls, Aboriginal sites such as Swift Bay, Vansittart Bay, and Jar Island, the stunning King George River Gorge and Falls, rugged Wyndham, and finally finishing in the relatively cosmopolitan but really chic little town of Darwin, Northern Australia. You'll be traveling with some of the world's most prestigious experts, and in particular, importance for us, it's really important for these remote regions such as the Kimberley. Our expedition leader, Brad Clemson, he's a native of Sydney, Australia, with degrees in marine biology and zoology. And Brad has a particular expertise in reef systems, which you're going to find out is a very, very important aspect of this program. Also, without question, one of our key objectives is to experience the amazing cultures of Western Australia and the Kimberley region. And there's no one better to travel with than Bart Pegram. He's a native of Broome and really one of the most engaging leaders that you're going to travel with. Now, also for our guests, if you've been with us in the past, you know the importance of our onboard A&K expedition team. And this expedition certainly will be no different. You'll be joined by many familiar faces from A&K's world-class core team of field naturalists, our Zodiac drivers, and of course our full lecture team. Now, every expedition has its key highlights and elements. So today, I wanted to take 10 and highlight what we feel are the most compelling for our Kimberley cruise expedition. You'll experience some of the most amazing geography, geology, and landscapes, really unmatched anywhere in the world. Much of this is shaped by the extreme tidal changes and conditions. And in fact, the region that you'll be traveling in experiences amongst the most dramatic and the highest tidal changes of any place on the planet. And it really is what is going to shape our voyage. Nowhere is this more evident than Montgomery Reef. Monty is one of the region's largest reef system, which at low tide, it becomes completely exposed. One of the very few places on Earth, in fact, that this phenomenon occurs. So just imagine when the conditions are right, being out in the Zodiacs as the seawater just cascades off of the glistening reef, exposing an entirely different world and ecosystem. Also, Hunter River, after we take a morning helicopter excursion up to Mitchell Falls, you'll have the afternoon to explore the stunning Hunter River by Zodiac, out looking for saltwater crocs, dugong, which are very similar to the manatees that you find in Florida, a wide variety of birding species as well. And one of the most hauntingly stunning places in the world, the King George River Gorge. Depending on your choice, you'll have the option to take either a 2, 3, or even a 5-mile Zodiac excursion, with the payoff after a 5-mile journey for our more adventurous travelers, the opportunity to hike right up to the top of the King George River Falls. And don't let these dry rocks here fool you. The black streaks that you see there, when we're there in May, this is actually going to be a cascading torrent of waterfall just off of the height of the wet season in the Kimberleys. And one of the most amazing aspects of the journey is going to be learning about the amazing cultures and particularly the history of the ancient rock art found only in this region. We'll have a number of secluded cave areas that will be personally guided and descriptions provided by dedicated storytellers, such as Neil that you see here, explaining the differences in the varied rock art styles, including the Guion, or often referred to as Bradshaw art that you see on the left, or the Wingina that you can see in the image on the right. Distinctly different periods, and they represent completely different cultures and cultures during the course of time. And these storytellers, it's such an honorary position. It's passed down generation to generation. So the honor of being a storyteller in this area is such a high level of distinction. We're also going to have amazing wildlife experiences and encounters. It's highlighted by, of course, the salties, the saltwater crocs. And in areas such as the low-lying coral islands and the Lasapede Islands, amazing birding opportunities. It includes the world's largest population of brown-footed boobies and the nutrient-rich area that's really just ripe for amazing marine mammal and whale encounters as well. Finally, with our very small group of passengers, we're able to include all of the key sightseeing experiences in this program, including the opportunity to shoot the Narrows at Horizontal Falls. Now, depending on the tide and the tidal conditions, we'll either do this in our Zodiacs or by special boats, but this is a feature that just absolutely cannot be missed. And from the Hunter River, we'll board helicopters right from the beach for a breathtaking flight over the Mitchell Plateau Escarpment up to the stunning Mitchell Falls, and you'll have the full morning to explore. We'll drop our passengers up right at the peak of the falls, and you'll have the morning to explore this just amazing region. And from the cowboy town of Wyndham, you'll have the choice of an excursion, either taking a small fixed-wing flight over the Bungle Bungle. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's just amazing formations of these honeycomb geological formations in the Bungle Bungle. Or you can choose to take a wildlife cruise up the beautiful Ord River. Now, you've seen some of the rugged and remote environments that we'll be visiting throughout this journey. However, I wanted to end just to remind you that you'll be experiencing all of this in absolute comfort and style. For our Kimberley expedition, we'll be chartering and operating the MV Below, one of the world's premier expedition vessels. Now, a few key things that I want to highlight. Number one, as with all of A&K's luxury expedition cruise programs, A&K has full expedition and operational control of our entire program. Now, part of that operational control enables us to set and manage our own capacity, which for this program will be no more than 148 guests. And in fact, when you take into account the number of solo travelers that we'll typically have, plus the additional space that we need for our amazing expedition team, we typically will be full with about 130 guests. And just to remind you, this is on a ship that's designed to carry up to 184 passengers. So what does that mean? A couple of things. Number one, we'll never have more than about 70% of what the ship is designed to carry. It provides much more comfort and personal space for our guests on board. And with the combination of our expedition team as well as the ship's crew, we'll have nearly a 1-to-1 service personnel to guest ratio on board. Now, that greatly enhances the level of personal service, the natural ability for our physical distancing, and the ability for us to maintain the highest level of health and safety standards when we're on board. And just as a reminder, 100% of our passenger accommodations all feature full private balcony, so you can enjoy in solitude, if you wish, the amazing environment. As always, all of our expeditions are all-inclusive. That includes our butler service that applies for all suite categories on board, all the gratuities for our staff, our crew, the highest level of cuisine, multiple dining options, 24-hour room service, our A&K's traveler valet, laundry service, open bar, all of the excursions, all the ground services, and so much more. Also, you have the opportunity to extend your journey with an exceptional group pre or post extension. That would be Margaret River in Perth and the Margaret River wine country, snorkeling and diving in Ningaloo Reef, or amazing outback experience of Arnhem Land. So we look forward to welcoming all of our travelers, and in particular, we invite you to join us as we celebrate 30 years of luxury expedition cruising. In addition to our Kimberley cruise, as we explore this untouched Kimberley region, please visit abercrombieandkent.com. Take a look at our full lineup of all of our programs during this celebratory year. Thank you for tuning in.